Alright, this is round 7 of Orange Crystal. We have Robin Mail versus Lucina. Um, with Weiren versus OstainFox. So Weiren is playing Lucina, and Ostain is playing Robin. So Lucina is usually a tempo slash combo deck, also aggro. Its pretty much objective is to get you low on orbs so that it can use its finisher to buff up a lot of units by like plus 30 to 40 attack, and then just got a bunch of weaker units to just beat you up. Robin, on the other hand, wants you to crit them and dodge against them so that they can slowly draw cards through that. We'll see if it actually ends up being super helpful. But double self, not always the greatest start.
It's interesting that he plays Robin. I just practiced purple versus Weiren. Just before this.
Yeah. Okay, we got Keats.
Keats and Robin. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Keats aren't bad. They do help anything, but usually they'll only help if you're going first if you're a turn 3 promo. And Robin Mail being a mage MC not helping right here, because if that was melee that would hit, but this one definitely does hit.
This is the 1-2 range version.
Yeah. Yeah, technically you can run the set 4 Robin, who's melee, and it's 40, and that's probably usually what you want to do. Just because 40 is bigger than 30, at least on like turn 1 and 2, and you're not likely to use Robin's skill anyway.
Yeah.
It does get you main promo back, so like it's still not a bad cost one, it's literally Sonic-y, 4-2 skill. Just specifically for Robin, though.
Yeah, and heavy ranges can be useful versus stuff like overall.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely not like a terrible choice. It's just I personally don't think it's as good because you're going to get hit in the face by Manicheats, and that's not what you want to be. But
yeah, if OstainFox did his homework, he would have known that Weiren doesn't play overall. So other one called
Austin is female. Yeah. Luckily for Austin, her opponent did not go for an aggro strategy, seeing that they didn't promo, which works out better because Robin will now live longer. Oh, but we got our first keyed emblem.
Just rigged that, did he?
Yeah. Weiren should have been able to rig that.
Yeah, he just saw the key and just attack. He didn't actually bobs.
I mean, if you choose not to move it, I still call that rigging.
Yeah, I guess you can count that, yeah.
Like, yeah. Alright, so we'll see if Robin can go into main promo here. Because usually that's the set 14 4-3. It has 10 less attack than the set 4-1, but it is a hell of a lot better on board. And there it is.
It's Flavia.
Yep.
It is. Okay.
Alright. So in this situation, Robin should generally swing first. They're equal attack, so no need to use the skill, and this is why. If they keyed Emblem here, Noe will gain plus 30 attack instantly. So you might as well attack with Robin first.
And now she can hit Lucina.
Yep, she can hit Lucina a hell of a lot more consistently.
10 supports, see.
60 on 60 with 10 supports each.
Ooh, you don't want to dodge.
I mean, Robin can now draw. Yep, and
Did
that
they
did.
focus?
Yep, they did. So
They did, yeah.
yeah, against Robin is the opposite idea of going against Brown. You want to dodge all at once, all in one turn. Actually, no. That's actually the same as Brown generally. Just because there's absolutely no point in spreading out your dodges to like try and keep your hand low. Robin is actually technically very good against dodge tanks for that reason. So like Micaiah, Soren are the two main ones, I guess. I don't know who else really dodges super early other than those two. Or who really wants to dodge early other than those two.
On um, which I think.
But
She has a bridge that gets dodges back, but you gotta keep betting.
yeah, yeah, like
Yeah,
there's a few. It's just Soren and
yeah.
Micaiah are the two ones that come to mind the first, especially Micaiah.
Yeah,
There we
those
go.
like one of them.
We have Lucina in her better promo for this situation. Because she wants to use her 5/4 as a form of a bridge. Alright, that is Frederick from Retreat, not from Hand.
Yeah, I don't think he has anything better in retreat. That's
Yeah,
why.
probably. It's just something to note because, yeah. Because Frederick and Lucina activate at the same time, so you can do either one in either order. And they're just going face, apparently. Okay. Robin dodging. This one at least makes sense because this will keep Lucina's class change a little bit higher. And now they're using Lucina's skill 2 to push Noe into the backline. Normally this would be quite a good play, except Noe is 1 to 2 range, as all Manicheets from Awakening are. So it doesn't really keep her out of the fight at all.
I'll lose the +10 though, but
Yeah.
that's just normal then.
Yeah, she loses 10 attack, which makes her weaker than the average Keet Manicheet, but not by a huge amount. 50 can still hit, especially when you're just throwing out random things hoping for like support skills or something.
Yeah, and this deck does run Naga, I think, so.
Oh, class changing Morgan.
The back line, okay.
Yes. Oh, because she gains range of all not female, requires the weapon type and range of all allies. So, that is a ranged Morgan. And she has 3 different weapons from sword, stone, and tome. So yep, you got +20. That is a ranged 80 beat stick. That also only uses 3 deployments, so they still have 2 left if they had Na or Tiki as decent low costs. Judging by the fact that they weren't deployed immediately, I'm going to assume that they're not there.
And they also haven't bought one, so they've bought a lot of Morgans though. So
yeah, well, if they're doing this for class change reasons, they should be running about 8 for 1 cost, 4 of the 3 2s, and then they just happen to get it like this. I mean, an 80 ranged, if your entire thing is I'm 80 and I'm ranged, that's not the worst. This issue is Morgan's only buffed on your turn, as well as if they ever kill Noe, the buff disappears. That's also another like issue point.
you also need to CC for that +20.
Yeah. Alright, Robin selfing, but because they flipped for the +40, it doesn't matter. Now the big question is, are they going to move forward with Noe, or are they just going to swing with her? And they're just going to swing. So, Lena. Or is that Severa?
Crit, interesting.
That is Severa. I mean, if they're trying to encourage Lucina to dodge, it makes sense. Just trying to add more pressure. But I feel like Weiren had figured out that, hey, I just shouldn't dodge every turn. If Yin Fei Yeah, if Yin Fei was in this deck, he has an overclass that makes him undodgeable for the turn that he class changes. Um, that just adds to Robin's pressure, because Robin says, hey, I want you to dodge, and then if there's Yin Fei's running around in the deck, it says, hey, I don't want you to dodge. Or, I want you to dodge. So that means it would be decent support for Robin just to make them kind of just end up at low orbs, and then Yin Fei either finishes them, or just seeing the Yin Fei being a scare tactic will cause them to dodge earlier, and can cause Robin to draw more cards. So they could work pretty well together for that. But let's see what Lucina has. Because having 8 cards in hand as Lucina is usually decent, because if need be, you can class change into 5/4 again, get out another big unit, and deploy a Manakete, or just spam board with a bunch of low-cost Manaketes. Bonding Sumie is usually the right choice here, because the chance of you getting less orb or more orbs than your opponent is unlikely. You would have to hit Robin twice. And there's a good chance that they'll end up trying to clear board a little bit. Just because habits. And clearing board is usually the better idea, especially when there's an 80 beat stick in the backline.
If they had cleared the Noe, then that Morgan would not have. Yeah.
Yeah, because they would have been 1 deployment off of deploying Noe 3 as well, because they used 3 deployment for that combo, the class change, and then they have the 3-cost Noe. There is the chance that they also have a 1-cost Noe in hand as well. And then if they killed the Noe, it just comes out again anyway. But yeah, killing the Noe definitely seemed like the better play for last turn, instead of backlining it. Another question is, are they going... Oh, I thought you left the game. Well, you did, but... You're disconnected.
Yep, my laptop died.
Ah, I see.
So.
There you go. Okay, they're class changing into 5/4 Lucina again.
Yep, pretty standard.
Yep. And getting Noe on board. Noe 4. This one not as good. Just because... actually, it's not forced. It's only when you swing with Noe first that you can that you're forced into grabbing back one of your bonds. But they'll probably end up doing that and getting back one of the Lucinas. And they also deploy Tiki. So yeah, that used all their deployment. And Peony.
No, it didn't.
Well, Peony's free.
I think I should have done it first, though. Just then.
Yes, I think what they didn't actually draw for... I don't think they draw... Yeah, they didn't draw for CC until after deploying Tiki. So they drew for CC. I think that was Peony, and then they immediately deployed the Peony.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think it was just oh shit, I forgot my ordering type deal. Okay, and then they used Peony to buff Tiki. So Tiki is 70.
Morgan is only 20 on offense, right?
Yes, but counters are a lie. You can never trust them.
Yeah, I think this is where he's trying to go for face here.
Yeah, if they swing the Morgan and the counters matter, I'll inform them. But counters are always a lie because certain players don't play with them, so you can't trust them ever. Is at least
it's more evil if the counters are incorrect.
Yeah,
not there at all.
All right, and as I said, they're grabbing the Lucina dodge, so trying to stay alive a bit longer.
Yep, they did have to burn 1 dodge for promoting, so
yeah,
makes sense.
And they technically do go down in orbs, so they can't do as much abuse with it, but the main question here is, are they going to use Lucina Pull? No, they're not using Lucina Pull.
They still have a chance to do so.
This is 70.
That's
80.
a 10 support.
This hits them. 80 is enough.
Oh yeah, because Robin is only 60. True.
Yep. Mages have it rough.
Still not pulling. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, they've already committed to just punching Robin in the face. And if they're doing this play, keeping the Morgan in the backline makes the most sense, because that means Morgan can't hit Lucina. Yeah.
If he has some Noe dodges, then he's perfectly fine here.
Yeah. The issue with this play, though, is Noe on Noe can happen, and that's pretty likely to hit. And then Morgan and Robin can beat up Lucina.
Yeah, and I think if this plan was to run away, he should have played Tiki and Peony in the front.
Yes. Yeah, you just want more bodies. We haven't seen anything on Robin's side other than... Is that Tactician's Emblem on... Okay, there is Tactician's Emblem on Morgan 1.
Oh.
So
3 are already on board, so...
Yeah, 3 are accounted for. So the chances of it happening are low, but there is pull on Robin's side. So he does have an option to be able to do it. Okay, Robin getting out his female counterpart.
Picking up the Flavia. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, they're using face-up orbs, which is technically not correct. Face-up orbs is its own zone for black and white. Your opponent is not supposed to know what's in your orbs through Robin's skill. It's perfectly fine. It happens. It's just not as ideal. For obvious reasons.
He's playing that female Robin right next to that male Robin. They're kind of hugging in that sense. It's probably intentional.
I'm not gonna do that. Oh, we can. Alright, so. Yeah, so Noe dodge happens. This is. So that would have hit if they had used Noe 1, just because the 30 support is good enough. In this situation now, they don't really have consistent ways to kill Noe. Or kill Lucina, I should say. Alright, once again, that's... Alright, another dodge.
Once again, Noe 1 would have hit because of the 10 support.
It's going to be the one attack Noe 1 won't hit, and that's the one it's going to happen on.
Bet.
Like, just because how shit works, it'll always be the one attack that it wouldn't hit.
The setting to accept the key.
Okay, this one wouldn't have hit, but it does in this case.
No more dodges, but that's fine.
Okay.
Can't die. Can't die anymore.
Oh, okay. I would have said to clear Tiki. Tiki's generally a bigger threat, and if Peony dies and they have another Peony in hand, who cares? It just comes out again. Killing Tiki would have been better because Tiki is only 50 on defense. And when she untaps, she gains plus 20.
We had wrong counters again.
Yep. Well, because they left the peony counters on. Um,
Yeah,
but
but that Noe one had some hands. She would have hit 3 out of 4 attacks on
yep,
that other Noe.
yeah. Noe would have hit 3 out of 4 onto the Noe, and then obviously into the peony works well, or into the Tiki. The only thing Noe couldn't have hit is Lucina, so it still ended up working. They weren't punished for their ordering. It's just, in my opinion, could have been slightly better because you want to know if this inconsistent attack will hit so you can adapt. But if their plan was always to clear board, killing the Noe with anything else makes more sense because you get your weaker Noe to clear the Peony or the Tiki, because both of those things are weaker than the Noe that was on the front line.
Yeah.
All right, that is Lucina starting her stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've used 4 deployment, and that is a plus 40 buff across the board.
Are we going to see a Frederick?
It doesn't look
Doesn't
like
look
it.
like it.
And here's the big buffs. And we'll see.
Samia attacking. You don't see that all day.
I mean, at this point, you might as well because Lucina is actually the one case you do see it attack because sometimes it's just your best play. It's a body.
Yeah. It is something that can swing.
Yeah. Okay, so they take their rope from the MC tab.
So we know that wasn't Flavia, right? So
pretty sure I didn't actually see what card actually went in because it just said a card is moved to the face-up orbs.
I saw Flavia in the locks. That was like her.
Yeah, I could easily see it as Flavia. Okay, there we go. That's a Robin
Another
dodge. Do they have 2 more, maybe? No. Yeah, they don't.
Escape.
Oh, they have the taxes man here.
They're probably explaining what the main...
Yeah, the idea behind the Basilo and Flavia is on turn 5, you can deploy both of them. Because when one of them's on the board, the other one becomes a 1 cost, and then they're 2 80 beaters on turn 5. Which isn't bad.
It's not bad, it's just 10 supports.
The issues of it is it requires 2 cards in hand, just like a CCS skill being an issue. But if it works off, it can go quite well just because suddenly you're pressuring with 2 80 beaters. The 10 support is what mainly holds them back. If they were 20 supports, I could easily see them being played semi-often in blue for aggro strategies.
I think Lucina would not mind playing them if they were 20.
Yeah, probably, because one of them can be spawned off Lucina for her class change, because they're a 4 cost, and then you can just deploy the other one for a 1 cost on turn 5. So if you were to miss your promo by a turn, you still just get like 2 80 beaters. Honestly, I would say, yeah, Lucina is probably the best use of them. By far, just because she can cheat out 4 costs.
Yeah.
So situations like this is where the 1 cost ranged Robin is very much better than others. Hey, if they have something in the backline, you can just use Robin to kill it. And you don't have to worry about it. Ooh, into a 30 support. That is unfortunate.
Yep, the trade-off made him get hit here.
Yeah. Once again, seeing the weakness of mages You just get punched in by things that really should not hit.
And this deck also happens to run a lot of 10 supports, so...
Yes.
Does Morgan's deck at range?
No, this one just gains... It's just considered all of the weapons.
It's just set up the CC next turn, I guess.
Yeah. It's all of the weapons, but... Fist? Because Fist didn't exist at the time? And I'm trying to think if there's an... Oh, and Ninja Star, because Ninja Knives are not in blue. Ever. Because the thieves in that game use swords.
Yeah, swords for some reason. Yeah.
Well, GBA was the same. Matthew and Colm and them use iron swords instead of knives.
Oh.
So in Cipher, they're swords. The only games that actually use like hidden weapons is Tellius, because there were daggers for thieves, and Fates. Those are the only two games where thieves use a hidden weapon.
Is it really just those two?
Yeah. Tellius was the ones that introduced knives, then they disappeared again, and then they came back in Fates.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
And yeah, Morgan obviously only copies weapons that they can learn. Like copy in air quotes, or acquires in this case. So they can't acquire hidden weapon or fist. And yeah, I'm going to say those are the only two. I might be mistaken on that. Because they do have Fang, because she can be Tangrel if Robin Mail goes with Pian? Bunny Girl. It's the Bunny Girl, that's what matters.
Pan.
Yeah, Pian. Alright. Naga. Class change. Okay. So they're probably going to kill Noe here, is my assumption.
Into Frederick.
I mean, okay. Alright, this means that they could just punch face twice instead of going for the Noe. Just because being more aggressive when your opponent's on the back foot is really scary.
Yeah, like Noe's not likely to like kill the Frederick, and if she does it, Lucina, it's just more cards, and she likes that.
Okay, yep, they're going aggressive. Dodging, okay. I'm going to assume that they're dodging mainly because Sumiya is a thing, and they don't want to be too much lower in orbs. Just so that, well, Weiren doesn't just get draw once per turn, pretty much.
That is a fine idea. What's interesting is that Weiren only runs 2 Fredericks, but they have been getting him a lot.
No, they do. Scammed. I mean, actually, one of last time they deployed Frederick was from retreat, so it's not as much of a scam.
But they played Frederick before, I think, right?
No, not game 1.
No?
No, they only deployed it through Lucina class change. Alright, so Robin buffing up and taking care of Frederick. That is the correct play by far, because Frederick turns off critting against Lucina. No keyed emblem here, which is a shame. Keying the turn you attack is always lovely. But I also haven't seen any Na, so I don't think it was possible. Alright. Just deploying Sumiya. So once again, encouraging Ostian to start dodging more. Granted, I don't think she can dodge too many more. There's only so many Robins you usually have. Oh, double 30 sports. You almost lived that, Noe.
I think she only misses if she sells here. This match since she's 50.
Yeah, she would only live, but like, if you get that 30 sport, you're praying for that your opponent selves, because if you can just live, it's great.
Keating into the Jesus. Beautiful.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Lachesis or Lachesis, whatever one it actually is. It's just so nice to have. Alright, we got a Sevra. When she kills, buff a male. And 10 supports or 30 supports. Okay, so Sevra is also technically a deck where the cons do quite well. Because you can buff up Basilio to 100, I guess. And she makes them 30 supports. If they're supporting specifically Sevra. So that's also technically a decent option, because Sevra usually just runs attack emblems and then Frederick, I think. And I can't remember what else she does, but making them all 30 supports is decent. And being 80 beat sticks means that they can hit with a 10 support on themselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of worse than Fear. Everybody plus 10
Well,
at any time.
For Fear is everyone plus 10. Sevra is I am plus 20. So technically, if they hit each other, Sevra should live. The issue with that idea is Fur is also on 20 supports, so she makes Eliwood a 30. Sevra can't do that. Sevra is only if there are 10 support. But with attack emblems, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, so reverse attack emblems can be 50 supports, right?
Yeah. Attack emblems are 50 with Sevra as the attacker. And then she buffs up another male to swing as well. Like, I remember there being some aggro decks with Sevra MC, and it was decent. Like, it worked pretty well.
Really? Okay.
Oh, and Sevra is also until end of opponent's next turn. So it's a defensive buff as well.
Hmm.
And we get Flip 1 Frederick is back. Lovely. Everyone loves Frederick. Oh, did they Frederick from... Oh, they Fredericked from hand and then deployed...
Yeah.
No,
they flip 2.
Yeah. I thought Frederick was from retreat again. Because if they actually only had 2 Frederick, that means they Divine Righted twice this game.
Yeah, it's a 2-off.
Look, you should not be Divine Righting twice if you're running Frederick as a 2-of. That is just scamming your opponent.
Yeah, and in the practice games we did, he also got Frederick a lot.
Damn. Oh, hey, Sevra lives. So they seem to be... Oh, then they're pulling Morgan? I'm guessing they don't want Morgan to class change. I would have just personally suggested pushing Sevra, because Sevra needs to kill to activate her first skill. So if you just keep Sevra in the backline, she can't do anything. She just kind of exists. Your opponent will like tap move her forward every turn, but then you just swing and push her back every turn. And Sevra just becomes, I exist, but I do nothing.
She's a girl.
Yeah.
Buffing the Noe.
Yep.
Okay.
And they crit. So Robin gets to draw a card, technically, before they take an orb. Just from Robin's skill 2.
Did they draw?
I think they did. They did not. And bonding Severa into Peony. Okay. Into Flavio Basilo. There you go.
Hmm.
Yeah. So when one of them is on the... Their skill is pretty much when the other one is on the board, their deployment cost of 1, and if you have 2 more other blue allies in the front line, gain +10 attack. So pretty much your main character and these 2.
It would be so cool if they were 10 supports.
I mean, but if they weren't 10 supports, they would be everywhere and they wouldn't be as cool.
It's blue. Blue needs it.
I guess. Oh, hey, what emblem is that? That is Tactical Emblem. So now they get to pull something. They can fully clear board, pretty much. Yep. Because now you get Flavia to kill Noe. And that is a kill. And now Robin can clear backline if they want to try and handlock Weiren. But considering Robin also has no hand, it's not the greatest for them. Alright. Robin Mail putting in work.
So who was buffed by Peony?
Basilio, when he swung Frederick. He was swinging as 100 there. Alright, Lissa. Lissa is always great because it's technically a flip 1, draw 1. Oh, and there was a class change, so... Alright. So, popping one of their orbs.
And adding 5 for Lucina.
And getting 5 for Lucina into orbs. Usually you don't like that. You'd usually rather have 5x just so that you can cycle it.
Yeah, I assume he doesn't have a lot of plays in hand, so this is like, okay.
Yeah.
Especially since Robin isn't that bulky anyway.
But
so.
they are able to tank from this.
Critting.
Another crit. And survives.
Damn, that must have been like maybe top deck dodge.
I think they missed the draw again for the crit.
Did they?
Yep. They're playing Robin as if it's only on when your opponent dodges. But it's also when your opponent crits. Which is why, like, tanking up with Robin, if it was possible consistently, would be super nice, because then your opponent would have to crit you to hit you, and they would crit, you would draw, and then you could just top deck dodges, maybe. But, yeah.
Yeah, like, this job would be cool if he had like defensive buff, but he has skill, not offensive. trying to go for game. Seems like it. Will they be able to?
I mean, this is their one chance of doing it. They got a board. They can technically also run away, but Lucina does have that 4-3, but it cannot 5-4. But I don't think it can pull MCs. Yeah, it can't. So technically speaking, Robin could hide in the backline, swing with absolutely everything else. Robin runs away and be relatively safe. The main question is, are they going to use this Tactician Emblem to pull Lissa to kill her, or are they going to skip it and just keep hammering face? They're pulling Peony.
Probably a bad idea, because if they do decide to run away, then...
yeah, now Peony has access to the Robin, in theory, which is not helpful at all, which is why I usually wanted to skip the Tactician's Emblem, or just... like kill Lissa so you can clear board more effectively, which in my opinion would have been the wrong choice. Swinging face is, in my opinion, the best way to do this. I don't think you're going to live another turn.
Yeah, but it's never cursed because he doesn't have a Tiki crit. Actually, he can draw one, right?
70,
yeah,
80, 90. Well, if they dodge here, they can draw.
They can draw.
There they do. They drew.
Crit.
Yep, they're just preying. They're preying on the crit. 50, 60.
Wait, 10 support?
No Tiki. And everything else is tapped. Damn shame.
Imagine if Thoron wasn't just could buff someone else.
I guess, but that would be too strong on a 4-3 to flip one, give anyone else plus 40 for the turn. That would be outside of normal power budget, considering if you think of this Robin, he can draw once on your turn, once on opponent's turn. Like, if things line up, this Robin is technically one of the best draw engines of the game. It's just, your opponent will just look at it and go, okay, I'm just not going to trigger it. Because it completely relies on your opponent.
If you could buff allies, then you could like buff on it, on the cards that usually aren't that strong, like Dio.
Yeah, the biggest issue with this Robin technically is there's no on-hits in blue that are really a threat for the most part. So you don't really care. And blue also doesn't tank up that well, so Robin also can't like make them crit to hit over the tank up. Those two things are the main things that are holding Robin back as a good card. Because, like, if you look at him, he looks like he should be a good fucking card. But just because he relies on your opponent doing something, and blue doesn't have the tools to encourage those playstyles from your opponent. Those two flaws hold him back a lot.
Yeah. But he does have some potential in some things, like Sothis could be pretty funny, Lena could be... sounds interesting, but...
I think he's best in technically Hector, is because Hector only needs an ally with 100 attack to activate his skill, while Robin flips one becomes 100. Oh, well, who's tanked up? Well, Hector's tanked up, so you gotta crit him. Okay, and if Hector's punching face, oh, look, he has that Robin that's 100, so that means Hector has an on-hit. Like, in theory, Hector and Robin go perfectly together. They both encourage absolutely every single one of their good plays, because that means when Hector swings you, you either take the hit and something on your board dies, or you dodge and your opponent draws a card. What are you going to do?
She sounds great.
It sounds good, but it just never works out properly. It's one of the few things that actually want to tech blue specifically for what blue does is Hector, because of that.
If only it was better.
Yeah.
Oh, one cost bound.
Hey, it's Lucina. But they're not class changing, so Lissa is not stronger. Judging by the looks of this then, if that Tiki did hit, they might have won.
Tiki does it via Peony buff though, so it's like 4 attacks. So that... No.
Yeah. All right, 60.
Oh, you were talking about the enemy Tiki.
Yeah.
Critting. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about Ostian's Tiki hitting Lucina.
Yeah.
Because if they don't have a dodge, if they do reveal their hand and there is no Lucinas, that means that Tiki, if that Tiki did hit, it was game for Robin winning.
Yeah, it was possible. They did miss like 2 to 3 draws or so, right? So
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was an interesting game.
Yeah, it was decent. Close to being game 3. But who knows? Anyway, with that, we're done.